Hey, and welcome back to our 222 YouTube video channel. Really excited to dive into the Bible today, dive into what God has for us, and really excited to talk in small groups this week. Before we do that, during this time of quarantine, there's a lot of time where we can listen to music and things like that, and I want to know what you're listening to. So just shoot me a text this week. Tell me when you're watching this. Tell me your favorite album right now and your favorite artist right now. Or I guess if you don't listen to albums, just like your top 4 or 5 songs that you're listening to just kind of on repeat right now. I want to know what you're listening to. Give me something new to listen to. Looking forward to hearing what you guys and girls send me. Let's begin. So this last 2 months, we've looked at compassion mostly, right? We've looked at how to love someone, we have to see them, we have to look at them, we have to draw close to them, we have to feel for them, we have to have compassion for them. And then step 3 is when we help them. Then we looked at 3 enemies of compassion. We looked at judging, we looked at self-righteousness, we looked at legalism. I challenge you to pause this video real quick and see if you can remember kind of what the gist of those 3 things are. You can even text me hey, this is what it means to be judging, this is what it means to be self-righteous, and this is what it means to be legalistic. Now, our last 2 studies of compassion, we're gonna look at how compassion works. So let's start. We're gonna read Mark chapter 10, verses 46 through 52. It says, "And they came to Jericho, and as he was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a great crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out, saying, 'Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me.' And many rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he cried out all the more, 'Son of David, have mercy on me.' And Jesus stopped and said, 'Call him.' And they were blind, and they called the blind man, saying to him, 'Take heart, get up, he is calling you.' And throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, 'What do you want me to do for you?' And the blind man said to him, 'Rabbi, let me recover my sight.' And Jesus said to him, 'Go your way, your faith has made you well.' And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way." So just as a point of reference, when Bartimaeus, this blind man, calls Jesus son of David, he's actually saying that he is royal. He is acknowledging Jesus' royalty because David was the great king of Israel. And so he's saying, you're in the line of royalty, so you are a king. And that's really important because not everyone recognized him that way. So this Bartimaeus recognized Jesus for being a king. But then Jesus does something interesting. Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Now, do you think Jesus had a feeling of what was supposed to happen, what this blind man wanted him to do? I'm guessing most of us, much less the Son of God, would know probably what this man wants. And yet, Jesus says, "What do you want me to do for you?" It's strange, he's obviously blind. He's yelling at Jesus to help him. And so it's pretty clear that he wants to not be blind, right? So why would Jesus ask this question? Well, I think it's a good lesson for us. One, he doesn't assume anything. Bartimaeus is not a function of his disability. He's not some machine to be fixed. He's a human being. And so Jesus, secondly, is treating him like a human, giving him dignity and respect. And 3, Jesus is giving Bartimaeus space. He's allowing him to be himself and give him a chance to speak what he wants, giving him a chance to use his words and interact with Jesus. So Jesus' level of compassion for Bartimaeus shows that instead of Jesus being above him saying, "Hey, I'm helping you," Jesus is lowering himself and becoming equal with Bartimaeus and looking at him eye to eye. At the end of what we're looking at today, there's this big word. You saw it as the title of the video. It's incarnation. Incarnation is when Jesus, as the eternal God of the universe, put on skin, put on flesh, became a human, and lowered himself equal with us. And he felt hunger and pain and sadness, and he sweated, and like he probably got sunburned at some point. Like he went through all of the normal everyday things that you and I go through as human beings. And so by lowering himself, by making himself equal with Bartimaeus here, what he's showing is Bartimaeus is at the center of the miracle. It's not his blindness. It's not just Jesus doing something to be helpful. He actually is caring about the person. I've said something similar to this a bunch of times throughout the series, but Bartimaeus is not a blind man who needs to be healed. He's a person who needs to be loved. The opposite of incarnation is this other word, paternalism. Paternalism is an attitude of being above others that you're helping. Kind of like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm the one that has more to offer than you do. So what I'm going to do is I want to draw this for you. And so let me show you this real quick in a little bit of an illustration. First, we're going to look at paternalism. And then we're going to look at incarnation. All right. So say this will be us. And we're smiling because we are going to help this person who needs help. Okay. They'll have a frown because they're sad. So paternalism puts us above the person that we're helping. What incarnation does, what Jesus did when he became a man, is the person who needed help was like this. We'll still put them sideways to indicate that they need help. But then instead of above, incarnation, what Jesus did and what he wants us to do is he got equal. He became flesh. He became a man. And he became like us in so many ways. And so this is kind of the visual difference between paternalism and incarnation, what we were just talking about. So Jesus had just asked a question, what can I do for you? And that can be a really tough question because we have no idea what the person's going to say. What if we can't actually do what they need? But I want to encourage you to begin asking people, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Do you need prayer for anything? A lot of the time, people just need a friend. People need someone that will walk through life with them. Sometimes we have to ask people 2 or 3 times because we're so used to people not actually caring about us. They care about themselves. And so when they say, hey, is there anything I can help you with? You're like, don't worry about it, because we don't want to inconvenience them. So keep asking. Be like, hey, no, I care about you. What can I do for you? So I want to jump to something else to continue this. Let's look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. It says, so whatever you wish that others would do for you, do also for them. So for this is the law and the prophets. This is known as the golden rule, right? And we have to do 2 things in the golden rule. 1, we have to do something. We have to do something to other people. And 2, we have to think about what we would want them to do to us. But we have to get this right. First, we think about it. What would we want to be done to us? And then we do something. And so this is, in a sense, a guide for us to be able to practice this incarnation concept, where Jesus incarnated and got close to us, thinking about what we want others to do to us, come into our world, enter into our world, and be there for us, listen to us, care about us. It's a way for us to say, okay, that's what I want, so now I'm going to do that to others. I'm going to care about others in that way. What's tough about this is in the modern culture, in today's world, a lot of the time we hear things like love yourself, boost your own self-esteem, believe in you, follow your heart. These rules couldn't be more opposite. The culture telling us to love ourselves and to believe in yourself, they are starting with this belief that we don't love ourselves. They think we hate ourselves, so we need to just love ourselves more. The golden rule thinks you love yourself, so you need to love others in that way. And maybe you're sitting there and you're like, I don't think that's true. I don't love myself. I do struggle with that, or I know people that don't love themselves. Let me give a silly example. Say there's a person who thinks they have an ugly nose, and they're like, man, I just wish I had a better nose. Well, that is actually proving that they love themselves. Because if they hated themselves, if they didn't like themselves, they would look at them in the mirror and be like, ha, I'm glad you have an ugly nose. I hate you. But they don't. They look in the mirror and say, man, I wish I had something better. And it's because we love ourselves that we want better for us. We want what we don't have, or we don't have what we want, or we have what we don't want. And this is a proof that we love ourselves because we want the best for ourselves and we feel like we don't have what we deserve. And that is proof that we love ourselves. And so Jesus is saying, no, instead of taking that and like twisting it, he says, hey, that way that you love yourself, that way that you care for yourself and want the best for you, love others. Care about others. Ask them how you can help them. And so you may be asking, let's finish with this. What if I always spend my time caring about others? Who's gonna care about me? Well, let me give you a couple things. One, the gospel message is that the God of the universe cares about you. You are a sinner who is separated from God, and he sent his son who incarnated, who put on flesh. He came close, he cared, and he went to the cross and he died for you because of how much he loves you, because he wanted to be close with you. He wanted to restore that relationship. So you have the God of the universe who cares about you. Two, you have people in the church that care about you. Whenever you come to youth night, you see various leaders. You see myself, people that care about you. Girls, you have your small group leaders that you can reach out to and care. Underclassmen, there are some upperclassmen who really care about you that you can lean into. Guys, they're your small group leaders that you can call if you need help, if you need someone to pray with or talk to. Another example would be your parents. Your parents would love to talk to you and pray with you and hear how they can help you. There are people in the youth group, people your age that care about you, that love Jesus and want to be there. So know this, if you feel like you're alone, that's a lie from Satan himself. You're not alone. There's a lot of people around you, and the God of the universe loves you. And that's just great news. We're going to talk more about this week, and I will see you guys at small groups.